Now, as Russian troops continue to flow in to Ukraine, we have to look at what's going on with the buildup of the crisis that has really just happened in the last 36 hours. U.S. firm Generac is saying that sales of its home standby generators in both Russia and Ukraine, those sales have dramatically increased. Generator use, natural gas to power up homes and businesses. So clearly this is now a major issue. We have right now Generac Holdings Chairman and CEO Aaron Jagdfeld. First, Aaron, thank you for joining us. You've got teams on the ground. Number one, how are they doing? Are they safe? And number two, what are your sales looking like at this point in Ukraine?
Yeah, thanks, Liz, for having us on. Yeah, obviously it's a fluid situation there, and we're watching for information to come through. We're talking to our teams actively. We want to make sure that obviously they're safe. So it's a lot of concern, obviously grave concern about the current situation. As far as the impact on the business there, we have in Europe a business that's about 10% of our overall company, and so it's a nice piece of business for us. We have seen interest in generators in general for that region of the world, Russia and the Ukraine. It's just it tends to go with the territory, I guess. When you have this type of conflict or power security issues, people get very concerned about power quality, and it actually is spilling over even here into the U.S. with the concern about potential cyber attacks on the grid.
Okay, that I'm really interested in discussing at the moment. The grid is vulnerable, is it not?
It is. I mean, the grid is a patchwork of a network of power, and there are a lot of different protocols and software systems and players that are involved in operating the grid, and so because of the decentralized nature of it, the vulnerabilities and the gaps from one system to the next can vary wildly, and that does create a situation where a malefactor could do something to take at least a part of the grid down, if not larger regions.
You are in an awkward position because you also have an office outside of Moscow. Are you concerned that sanctions may hamper your ability to do business there, or are you ready to just pull out?
Yeah, our Russian business has always been, it's an interesting business. The Russians do buy generators, of course, and we do sell them to them. And sanctions could harm that. We're not exactly sure at this stage. Everything's so new. We're just processing all the information we can get our hands on. It would probably likely be a situation where we'd be unable to continue business there. But it's a small market for us in total. But it's still one that we probably would struggle to continue with.
Well, we're looking at price hikes, obviously, of natural gas, although they've moderated just a bit over the past couple of hours. What about your price hikes? Have you had to implement higher prices due to the supply chain issues for materials? And do you see what's happening now affecting the pricing of your generators in the near future?
Well, obviously, the supply chain challenges are well documented, right? And the commodity costs have increased dramatically. We're seeing energy costs continue to rise, and obviously energy is a major input in some of the materials we use, particularly aluminum, copper refining, steel production. And so as those energy inputs go up, so go the cost of those materials and pricing as well. We've instituted price increases over the last 12 months, on average between 10 to 12% across almost all of our products. And costs continue to rise. Logistics costs as well have been, again, well documented, but continuing to rise. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and if we have to put another round of pricing into the market, we'll react accordingly.
I know you have some generators that run on diesel and other kinds of fuels. Where do you see those prices going as we watch Brent crude going up above $104 a barrel earlier today? That's a 8-year high.
Yeah, it was shocking to see that. It's been, as you say, since 2014 since we saw any kind of numbers like that on crude oil. And that is, again, in terms of diesel fuel itself. In our products, because our products are primarily used in an emergency duty type of situation, the input cost around the fuel is maybe not as sensitive as perhaps the input costs like steel and copper and aluminum. But nonetheless, it's something we have to account for, and something that our customers, of course, it comes out of their pocketbook when they run these machines.
We know you mentioned aluminum. Aluminum prices are spiking, not to mention palladium, gold, platinum. all of these prices had reached multi-year highs earlier today, and some of that is a flight to quality. But as we know, palladium is used to make catalytic converters convert. What other metals do you see using in your generators that you're concerned about as the prices go higher?
Yeah, again, aluminum is definitely one that we watch very closely alongside steel. And then you go over into our clean energy products, our battery storage products, and you've got the battery ingredients themselves, cobalt and lithium and some of the other chemistries that go there. And those, of course, all of those prices are up across the board. The broad spectrum of commodity prices has, in particular around metals, as you say, has gone up. We use a lot of catalytic converters, of course, in our machines also. So we're seeing those costs rise. And the inflationary environment is I think we can all debate at this point, or at least cease the debate around whether it's transitory or more structural. I think a lot of the inflationary things that we've seen around labor and materials costs certainly appear to be more structural in nature and longer term, and I think are going to be with us for some time.
Aaron Jagdfeld of Generac, we appreciate you coming on a very busy day.